The July 2021 update brings with it 2 new Italian destroyer commanders to World of Warships Legends, as well as a Tier 7 destroyer, which we'll be taking a look at later. But for now, I thought we would go over and review the 2 new destroyer commanders and see how they shape up. Let's look at Luigi Rizzo. His base trait is the Great Escape. It increases the duration of engine boost and reduces its reload time. Okay, so as far as the 4 skills go, we have Contact is Imminent for the first skill. The second skill is Look at Me Now. The third skill is Back in Stock. The fourth skill is Smoke on the Water. And these are all the basic kind of skills that I like to see in a destroyer commander. So let's see what different options are available for each skill for each of these 2 commanders. So the other options for the first skill is Observant Rage, which reduces the main battery reload time of your destroyer and improves torpedo detection at the cost of slower rudder shift speed. So I guess if you're looking to set up a gunboat commander, this might be a good option. This is the no-fly zone. Improves power and range of the AA suites for all ship types. As far as the second skill, it starts out with Look at Me Now, which is a standard destroyer skill that I generally select. They also have Mortar, enhances your destroyer's shell damage at the cost of increased ship detectability. So this again is for a gunboat commander setup, I believe. The other option here is Swordfish. It increases the duration of engine boost and improves the torpedo damage. So this helps out your torpedoes a little bit, but I think being hidden might be a bigger benefit. Let's look at the third skill, and the big deal here is Perceptive. This is now available in all destroyer commanders. It was available in 1 or 2 commanders in the past, and I never really had used it. It increases the visibility of enemy torpedoes, reduces incoming damage to your destroyer, and shows the direction of the closest enemy ship. So, is this more important than a quicker reload time? I have thought that it's not. When I configure my destroyers for torpedoes, I want as many torpedoes on target as quickly as possible, so I generally always select Back in Stock. Another option for the third skill is Twist and Track. It's pretty popular with gunboat commanders. It increases the main battery traverse speed of your destroyer, and it will show the direction of the closest enemy ship. We also have 1,000 Cuts. Reduce the reload time of your destroyer's main guns as well as secondary guns of all ship types. So this would be okay if you're going to use Rizzo as a commander on other ships, I guess. But again, this is a setup for a gunboat commander. As far as the fourth skill, Smoke on the Water is the one I generally select. It increases the smoke screen deployment time as well as its dispersion time. A lot of times I like to set the smoke screen and just sit there and try to pick off the enemy with the guns or the torpedoes. Dispersion time and the deployment time does come in handy here. The other option for the fourth skill is Cloudy Days. Reduces the engine boost consumable reload time at the cost of diminished smoke generator capabilities. So this is probably one that I would not select. Unstoppable is a legendary skill I think that all destroyer commanders should have. It reduces the engine repair time as well as gain a reduced mobility with a disabled engine and or rudder. So when you're conked out, when you're within range of an enemy, you'll still be able to move around a little bit and you won't be completely dead in the water. The other option is Leviathan. Increases the maximum HP of your ship at the cost of a lower maximum speed. But again, if your engine is conked out, this won't help you. This has saved me many times. Okay, so let's take a look at Giuseppe Fulgosi. The base trait is in the fog. It increases the smoke screen deployment time. And again, here you see on all the skills, contact is imminent, look at me now, back in stock, and smoke on the water. The basic skills that I generally would have selected are there. Contact is imminent is generally in the first skill slot, and on true torpedo destroyer commanders you also see subsurface venture, and that is not here. So the best I can do is contact is imminent. So let's look at the other skills. Quick fix for skill 1 is the another option. It increases the module defense against HE damage. Steering gear and engine modules remain functional after sustaining critical damage. Yeah, I think I would still go with contact is imminent because I'm looking to set up a torpedo boat. No fly zone again, same as Rizzo. Improve power and range for AA suites of all ship types. Okay. So the second skill here, Squid's Ink. This is a unique skill for each commander. It seems like each commander's unique skill will be over here on the second skill. This one happens to be Squid's Ink. Increases the duration of the smoke generator, but it is at the cost of a faster smoke screen dissipation, so I don't really like that. The other option is Flank Speed. Increases the maximum speed of your destroyer at the cost of reduced rudder shift speed. Or Look at Me Now increases the ship concealment rating, and this is generally what I use along with my inspiration of Bay, which reduces the detectability even more. The third skill is Back in Stock again. It reduces the torpedo launcher reload time, and for me this is very important, as opposed to, as we said with Rizzo, Perceptive, which increases the visibility of enemy torpedoes, reduce incoming damage to your destroyer, and show the direction of the closest enemy ship. I have never used this. I don't know if I would. I might give it a shot here with Fugosi if I end up going with Italian destroyer and I have to pick a commander. This might be the guy because I like his base trait more than Rizzo's. But let's finish the third skill. Standard Fall is another option. It reduces all armaments reload time as the ship sustains damage. And I guess I don't really understand this because it says the reload time reduction per 1% HP loss is 5/100ths. So maybe it's based on your ship loss. I don't really understand that. If anybody knows, please leave a comment about that. I'd be very interested. The other option for the third skill is Glass Cannon. It improves the main battery shell grouping of your destroyer and narrow dispersion for any ship type, but it decreases their maximum HP. Okay, so shell grouping of the destroyer's main guns is 3%, 2%. Maximum HP is reduced 5%. Again, I would use Back in Stock. Smoke on the water is kind of the standard thing, as I said with Rizzo. Sidestep increases the main battery range of your destroyer and incoming shell dispersion for any ship type, but reduces their rudder shift speed. So this would be great if I'm setting up for a gunboat captain, but I am not. Unstoppable again. This again is a skill that I think every destroyer commander should have. Let's see what the other option is. Rather Be Torching. Increase the chance of causing fire with your destroyer's HE shells while reducing their impact damage. So, okay, I think I'd still pick Unstoppable. Well, okay, I know that a couple months ago the Leone came out and there was no Italian destroyer commander and people were using Ingo Campioni. So let's take a look at him. And you can see here that base rate is reduce incoming damage to your ship, kind of standard, kind of like a catch-all. But he does have Contact is Imminent, Look at Me Now, Back in Stock, and Smoke on the Water, along with Unstoppable. So these were the skills I was talking about with Rizzo and Fugosi. So it wasn't a complete, absolute disaster to have Campioni as the destroyer commander for the Leone. But let's take a look at the Leone and the other new Italian destroyer that is now in the store. Okay, so you can see the two Italian destroyers are the Paolo Emilio, a tier 7 for 750,000 global XP, or the Leone, as I said, was available a couple months ago for 10,000 doubloons. That works out to be $40. So if you have no global XP like I do, I've only got 40,000, to convert enough elite XP into global XP with doubloons, it would cost about 30,000 doubloons, or $120 is what that works out to. You could wait a year or two and earn all the global XP if you never spend it on anything, and then you might be able to do it. But if you want to purchase the ship by converting elite XP to global XP, it will cost $120 to get 750 global XP. The Leone is straight up 10,000 doubloons or $40. First, let's take a look at the Paolo Emilio and see what that ship is all about. A predecessor of a class of Italian light cruisers, this high-speed Italian destroyer is not only fast, her big guns speak for themselves. That makes her a perfect match for hit-and-run tactics. Okay, so you see here the ship has big yield, above average torpedo damage, guns aplenty, high number of guns allow for a lot of damage from a single salvo, and it's fast, above average maximum movement speed. So let's go ahead and view the ship. So you see here that there are 4 upgrade options. First upgrade option is Aiming Systems Mod 1 for 200,000 credits. Second upgrade slot is Steering Gears Mod 2 or Propulsion Mod or Damage Control for 400,000 credits. And here's where it starts getting kind of dicey. The third upgrade slot, regardless of which one you pick, will be 2 million credits. And here the fourth upgrade slot is 3 million credits. So all total, to upgrade the Paolo Emilio, is 5.6 million credits, which have a value of 3,733 doubloons or $15 if you do the conversion to get those credits. You take the number of credits and you divide by 1,500, and that tells you how many doubloons you have worth of credits, and then you divide that by 250 to tell you how many dollars you have. With that said, nothing on the loadout. Let's look at the stats. Survivability is 24,400. As far as the artillery, firing range is 11.4 kilometers. Reload time is 10.7 seconds, which is kind of slow. You do have 8 guns, so like it said in the brief outline there, you could get a lot of damage on one salvo. So okay, the reload time is kind of slow though. That's you know, the Fletcher and the Benham, I believe all those have a quicker reload time. For sure the Goering has like a 3-second reload time of the main gun, so this is pretty slow. Let's look at the torpedoes. Reload time is a whopping 120 seconds. I think one of the 4 upgrades, I think the 4th upgrade, will reduce the reload time by 15%, but you've got 120 seconds. That is 2 minutes. Maximum damage though is a whopping 23,767, which is up there with the Shimakaze. Torpedo range is terrible at 6 kilometers. That's like defensive numbers. And the torpedo speed is a whopping 67 knots, which is pretty good. That's unexpected. A lot of the American destroyers seem to be right around 50 somewhere, so this is pretty fast. But the range is really the problem here. If this was a longer range, this would definitely be an awesome torpedo boat, but it is not, except for the damage and the speed. So the AA defenses, you can see their numbers. There's a few of them there. Maneuverability is a whopping 43.5 knots with no booster, so you can increase that quite a bit probably with a booster. Rudder shift time is 5.3 seconds, which is pretty good. I think I've seen videos from community contributors where they've lowered that down to less than 2 seconds. You got to get a special commander though. The concealment is 7.3 kilometers. That is not, I think you're going to end up with, if you do proper concealment on your commander, you're probably going to be around the high 5s. So I would guess that this is probably more of a gunboat type deal. But, I guess it just depends on how you play it and how you have it set up. So we did kind of go over the overview a little bit. Let's look at the Leone by comparison. Let's take a look at that. Leone is the first Italian destroyer to enter World of Warships Legends and is heavily armored for her ship type. But as a scout destroyer, she carried 820mm guns in a pair of twin-tube torpedo launchers. Okay, so there's only 2 torpedo launchers per side. Okay, so under the overview here, it says rapid reload. Torpedoes reload more quickly than average. Stealthy. Good torpedo concealment gives enemies less time to react to incoming threats. That is good. Sluggish shot. Difficult to aim at long distances, but trajectory allows for effective fire from cover. If I were to get this ship, I won't be doing much of that. I would set it up strictly as a torpedo boat. So let's take a look at the ship. There are only 2 slots to upgrade, and it's basic aiming systems mod 1 or main battery or AA for 200,000 credits. Steering gears mod 2 or propulsion mod 400,000 credits. So once you purchase both upgrades, that is 600,000 credits. It works out to ultimately $1.60 if you wanted to upgrade your boat. It makes sense to do that, I think. Let's look at the stats. 13,700 hit points. Let's look at the artillery. The firing range is 10.5 kilometers, reload time of 9.5 seconds, kind of similar to the Paolo Emilio. Damage is a little down, but again, we won't really be using this as a gunboat, so mostly looking at the torpedoes. 47-second reload time, which is awesome. Maximum damage is 13,367, which again is awesome. And the torpedo range of 11 kilometers is awesome. The problem though is a torpedo speed of 51 knots, and at 11 kilometers you're doing fishing expeditions, I think, if you're trying to target something 11 kilometers out. We'll have to see what the concealment is, but you should be able to get a little bit closer than 11 kilometers out. You might want to do safari hunting with this boat by just letting the torpedoes go. You know they'll go for 11 kilometers, and you might get a stray ship running into your torpedoes. Here's your AA defensive numbers. As far as maneuverability, maximum speed of 34 knots, which is, I guess, kind of standard for a destroyer. Rudder shift time is pretty quick at 3.4 seconds. And the concealment is 6.5 kilometers. Without any upgrades or any commanders or anything. So I am thinking you're going to be down around 5 kilometers or less once you get a commander with a good build going to enhance concealment. So there you go. That is it for the 2 commanders and the 2 Italian destroyers. I should mention that the cost of doing business, if you saw my ship service video for the Paolo Emilio as a tier 7, is around 160,000 credits or so. So if you go into a match and you have made over 160,000 credits, you will break even. If you have less than that when you go in the match and you lose, you may have to pay a ship service fee and credits before you can run the ship again in a battle. So as far as the Leone goes, as a tier 5, the ship service fee is 21,000 credits, so you're much more likely to make quite a bit of money with this ship. And It'll be cheaper to run, it's cheaper to obtain, so we'll just have to see how that goes. Hope you enjoyed the video, hope you found it useful. This is the Jaguar, and I'll see you on the high seas. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you like it.